Mega is an improvised satire from the staff of a fictional megachurch.
We are here, Lord, we are here, and we're ready to podcast.
Hiya, I'm Hallie Labont, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every single week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. We love introducing you to members of our church staff and people from our community, and I always find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. Please welcome Gray Haas.
Jesus on high, because he's my ride or die, Hallie. How are you?
Too blessed to be stressed, too anointed to be disappointed, and way too grateful to be hateful. Well, just like our Father God in heaven had to release his child into the world, unfortunately, through killing him brutally on a cross, our guest today has just released his little bird from the nest. Please welcome your friend and mine, Brent Southpaw. How you feeling today, Brent?
Oh, hey guys. I'm actually a little lethargic, a little emotionally lethargic. Sorry.
Oh,
okay.
Bless you.
Well, I want to give a little context because today we were supposed to interview the director of the water treatment plant, but he had to cancel because of an issue, I guess, with some water that he drank. And then we canceled the session, and I was walking out, and then Hallie, I saw Brent out in the parking lot, kind of walking around his car, talking to someone, and as I got up, I hadn't recognized him before. He was talking to himself, and I said, "Hey, can I help you out?" And we got into a really interesting conversation, and so that's why I said, "You know what? Why don't you come on the pod, and we'll have it on the microphone."
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for that. I was I was speaking to myself. It's true. You could say it. I was sobbing, and I was just outright.
Yeah.
It was been a tough morning. Just dropped off my daughter Kelly for her first year in college. In Bloomington.
Empty nester down in Bloomington. That's awesome that she stayed here in Indiana.
And so, how did you make your way into the parking lot? And how did I guess just a follow up question. I've never heard anybody cry quite like that.
Yeah, no, I'm a good crier. We cried a lot growing up. My mom and dad would often get me and my siblings around the table after dinner for a good cry.
Really?
Is that right?
Emotions were very important in our household. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow. You hear about families used to get together and sing around the piano, before the Beatles and stuff like that sort of ruined that. But I've never heard of a family getting together for a good old healthy cry.
Yeah. We didn't actually grow up with one religious persuasion. So in lieu of praying, it was more of let's get all the emotions out, put them all out on the table. And that's the way you could deal with it. And so I took that with me as a grown up. And, I just tried to work in a little bit of the faith as well, not just emotion, but some sort of belief, So it feels good. It's cathartic.
Well, I can imagine just sitting around a table and crying because you didn't know Jesus was probably a main reason that you were crying.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a cautionary tale for any families out there, who aren't Bible-based families, who aren't God-centered, around the table. Guess what? You're going to all end up weeping and gnashing your teeth. But I got a good news for you, Brent, because, Christians, we have emotions too, but they're called the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. So we've got, emotions, but guess what? They're fun ones. You're gonna love it at Twin Hills. We've got this awesome programming that's gonna just singe your hair when you come into our main auditorium and you see. Sometimes we fog the room. We've got a drum kit up there. Sometimes we've got laser light shows, my man. I mean, it is gonna draw you close to Christ.
Yeah. Well, it was quite a spectacle. I could see from the road. That's why I pulled into the lot. It was really something.
Yeah.
So, thought maybe I could belong somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what it is. When your kid leaves, you don't feel like you have any center of gravity. I don't know if that makes sense.
Is it your only kid?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
it. And my wife's been catatonic for 14 years. So,
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And what happened?
It was a machinery on-site accident. It was a whole
Really?
real nightmare for about 3.5 years.
Wow.
And then for the last 14, she hasn't spoken. So
Is that right?
So the 3.5 years were a nightmare, and then the other 11 have just been kind of quiet.
Yeah, 3.5. She was in the hospital.
Okay.
For about 3.5 years.
Okay.
We thought we were going to lose her, but she's still here technically. But for 11 years, she's been quiet.
Oh, and she's still getting up, going to work, and all that stuff. She's just not talking.
Yes. Yeah, she's able to get through her day, but she just stares sort of blankly ahead. And so she's there, but she's not there in a way. So I feel like it's not the typical empty nester situation in that there's really no one to talk to now. Kelly and I talked a lot. We had a lot in common. So I'm talking about her like she's gone. She's just in college. I'm going to see her.
Yeah.
I'm going to see her.
Yeah.
I'm going to see her.
Yeah, definitely. And she's going to talk to you, unlike your wife. Now, do you ever get jealous of your wife? Because it doesn't seem like she's grieving the empty nest. Are you a little jealous of that?
I'm jealous at certain times that I can't just stare off into space and have people leave me alone.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
mostly at work.
Yeah.
When I'm at home, I talk to her a lot. Not anything back, of course, but sometimes she'll blink, and I've taken that to mean she agrees with me 100%. So that's comforting.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, you're going to make an awesome Christian. I just know it, Brenton. You know why? Because a lot of times prayer feels like a one-way conversation, and you're already used to that.
Yes.
So you're going to be able to talk to God and be like, this is normal to be in a full-blown relationship with someone who is essentially, as far as our five senses go, is unresponsive.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people think I'm talking to myself, but I'm praying. Okay. And it's really cool to start directing that stuff toward God, because he'll start leading you beside the still waters, baby.
I like that. I like that a lot. When I was younger, I tried talking to all 4,000 gods.
Oh, no.
During one summer.
Whoa.
Nothing back.
Really?
4,000 gods? Is that like the Hindu one and the Buddha one?
Vishnu, Buddha, I tried. Flying Spaghetti Monster, even someone recommended. Nothing back. So, I'm kind of used to that.
Yeah.
And that's really what I was doing when you saw me in the lot, is I was talking to myself, but I was really saying, if there is a God inside this beautiful structure that you have here, well then please send him out in the form of someone. And that's when I saw you. And I was really,
isn't that awesome? And of course, and I guess I do have to give a little context, because I was stopping because he was parked actually in a loading area. We're not allowed to park, so I was saying, you got to move. But isn't that fun? And it's like the old story, Hallie, where a guy is on his roof and there's a flood, and God sends the rowboat, and then God sends in the Australian version, sends a submarine.
Oh, cool.
And then sends at the very last minute, sends a paraglider, a hang glider. And the guy says, no, I don't want any of those.
God's going to save me.
Then God drowns him, and then he gets to heaven, and he said, why didn't you save me? And he said, well, I sent all those really sick machines to help you out, and you didn't take them. And so maybe in this version, I don't know who came by your car before I did, Brent, but maybe I'm the hang glider guy in this situation.
Oh, cool.
That's one of my favorite parables, and I'm glad you cited that.
Yeah.
I believe so. I think there's something to it. Everything, as they say, happens for a reason.
Yes.
And I just I'm not looking forward to going home. I guess is what I'm saying.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, that's hard. And you must have been so surprised, Brent, when you said, God, show me a sign, or show yourself. And then you see this super cool guy walking towards you in Riffy Boy jeans and a ripped up t-shirt with thumb rings and a hemp choker necklace. And you must have thought, wow, God is awesome, huh?
Absolutely. Well, I thought, which one of the 4,000 is this approaching? And I was was quite blown away, and I think I'm just in a very fragile emotional state. So I'm sorry for crying on your shoulder.
It's fine. I mean, being in a fragile emotional state is one of the best ways to encounter Christ. I feel like when people are there, that's when Jesus, and Christ specifically, really shows up. And I really feel like, this could be an opportunity for you, Brent, to kind of get out of the house and get into a situation where things are just going to be a little bit more exciting, a little bit more lit for the type of life that you're. About how old are you?
I'm 40.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
I would have thought older.
I got married very, very young.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah.
that's
We were married
awesome.
in high school.
Oh, wow. That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, and we had a baby. I'm not saying we were pregnant in high school.
Okay,
I'm just
good.
saying,
Well, you did the right thing.
Yeah. that the families said this is probably what needs to happen.
Oh, and you stayed together
And what
even when she doesn't talk. Well, maybe because she doesn't
Right.
talk.
Your two families said that? Or when you say the family, I thought maybe it sounded like a mafia thing.
Oh, no. Well, my wife's family has loose associations.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
But,
wow.
They said it, and they also put it in writing. And so we said, okay, we're getting married. There's no doubt about this.
So you were in high school, and the family put it in front of you that you've got to get married, and you did.
Yeah.
And even though you've got an empty nest now, and your wife's got an empty nest upstairs, and I guess, I mean that just by...
No, I don't take offense. Yeah.
Right.
She's completely dead inside. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. But amazing that she can still work and she's still doing all her household duties, but she's just not
She does all
there.
her paperwork as well. So she's
Really?
That's nice.
she's
Wow.
wonderful. Yeah. It allows me to just, do my crafts or do the dishes once in a while if she eats that day. So,
Do you ever think that maybe the not talking is a choice?
I asked her that. She didn't say anything back.
Oh, well, sure. I mean, you know what? Knowing she's connected, though, they might be silencing her. I mean, you don't know. They could be giving her a drug because maybe she's seen too much.
You actually got an interesting point. I'm going to look into that, but I don't want to look too far into it because her family's quite scary. To be quite honest with you.
So what? And are you? You're 40. Are you retired?
No, I still own a little store. I own sort of like a mom and pop corner store in our neighborhood there. So I still go there, and we have all the essentials: milk and bread and gum, magazines. There's still a couple.
Great.
There.
Yes. Oh, I love you. Wait, do you own Keystones over on Keystone in the Crossing?
Of course.
Oh my gosh, I love Keystones.
Have you
That's a
been in?
great specialty shop. Yes, I feel like that's the Barefoot Contessa of Indianapolis.
I'm embarrassed I don't remember you coming in. I might not have been there that day, but I've got a really nice young guy that works the register there, so he might have waited on you. But yeah, that's our place. Come on in.
Oh, you have like baked goods made fresh every day. Your baguettes are better than anything I've ever had.
Those are
Crunchy
mine.
on the outside.
Those are
You
mine.
make those
Those are
baguettes?
mine. Thank you.
It's
Yes.
not easy to make a baguette.
Well, making a baguette is a very emotional experience. And again, this is kind of where it comes from is, I feel like baking is a form of love. And it's how I proposed to my wife in high school. I made a baguette that said, "Will you marry me?"
Oh,
And,
awesome.
yeah, it was very special. And I sometimes wish we could go back to those days where she could say, "That was good." But instead now she just stares.
Yeah, I guess you gave her your baguette in a couple of ways.
Well, I did want to ask you, Brent, what is it like now to send a daughter, your favorite daughter of the one you have, off to a secular university? Because, I know you haven't really come up in the church, but when you get down there to Bloomington, I mean, it is just so many kids.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of clear moral direction in their lives. I mean, they could join any kind of group, a club, a DI thing or whatever. And now you just what? You just left it there? What was that like?
Well, we've had a lot of talks about all walks of life, people that are in the arts versus people that are, she's into engineering. She's a very smart girl.
Okay.
So, I just prepared her that there's going to be different beliefs. There's going to be different cultures.
You got to look out.
You gotta look out. And so I trust, that she makes good decisions. And I
Oh.
See that way? Yeah, I didn't really understand. That's kind of what I saw in the parking lot. That's a really interesting way.
It's healthy though. It's not something to keep in.
It's genuine grief.
And why are the hands above the head when you do it?
It's mostly giving it up to any creator.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Releasing it, giving it back to God.
Offering myself up. If there's somebody out there controlling all this, please, protect my daughter, make my wife say a word, make me make better pastries, whatever it is. It's something I think praying's about asking for what you want and nothing else.
Yep. That's exactly right. We're supposed to throw our petitions at the throne room floor.
Well, that is a great, I think, topic of discussion of like, what is prayer for? And a lot of times when I really analyze it, because I'm kind of an intellectual, muscular Christian when it comes to just really getting into the philosophies and the apologetics. I think, yes, prayer is for what we want. And it's for what we think God wants. Because a lot of times we don't know what God wants, and we have to kind of get in there and figure it out through prayer. A lot of times when I think, look, a lot of guys will pray for sports outcomes. I don't, because I don't really care about sports, but a lot of guys will just pray and pray and pray that, the Indianapolis whatevers will win.
The Colts, yeah.
And
Pacers.
I will say, if it's getting you to pray, I bet God does want the Colts to win.
Awesome.
Right. Because the God probably does want the Colts to win.
Yes.
But that is my favorite prayer, is asking what God wants. I throw my hands in the air and scream, what do you want?
What do you want? Yeah. And then do you answer that a lot of times?
Yes. Well,
yes.
I have to answer because God doesn't answer.
Exactly.
Certainly my wife's not going to do anything.
Yeah, she won't. She never will.
I love her. I do love her. It's not that I've stopped loving her. It's just that I don't get any love in return or even eye contact.
Right.
So it can make it challenging.
Do you ever feel like it's kind of like a ghost in the house or something? Because it's just like it's like somebody showing up and like waking up and doing your taxes, and you're like, how did these happen? Because she didn't say anything, and she's just kind of like drifting around.
That's a good point. I've often woken up and she's just standing, staring blankly
at you.
But just above the bed, just dead-eyed.
Oh.
Wow.
And I go, there's my love, and then nothing.
Oh,
really?
Wow.
Yeah. That's usually when I pray, because then I just throw my hands up and go, what do you want?
And does she think you're talking to her?
Who knows? Because she can't tell me. I mean, I read a lot. I put a lot on her stare. I read a lot into it sometimes. So if I'm in a good mood, I just project that she's in a good mood. Does that make sense?
And she can write?
Yes. She is savant-like in the fact that she still has this, she's completely catatonic, but she can do numbers.
And but not written words.
No, it's all symbols and numbers.
Okay.
That's usually how the taxes and any other paperwork is done. So there's a legend we have to go in and sort of like match. Oh, this shape means this letter, and so it took a long time to learn.
Wow. I mean, maybe you could do something, because I came up with a code once. A is 1.
Okay.
B is 2.
Oh, I see.
C is 3. Isn't that interesting?
I was going to say that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I've used that sometimes when I'm trying to analyze Bible codes and things like that. But
would 11 be AA, and would 12 be AB?
And would it only go to 26? I mean, what if you had to count higher?
Yeah.
Well, that's something, I guess it can be refined.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know. I don't think why would you have a AA?
Well, what is 11?
Well, I guess it would be AA. But I mean, when would you need that other than when you're buying batteries?
These are good questions. And it's the type of things you won't know until you're in that situation, I assume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I did have to buy batteries once. I guess I did use it at 11. But I think what I'm saying is here, Brent, maybe you could kind of figure out a code so that she could write you notes that say how she's feeling. I mean, have you ever thought about that? Could you write out in some way with the symbols or the numbers like, hey, I know somebody's in there. Why don't you give me a little feedback or something?
Yes. I did, well, when right before Kelly left, actually, for school, I said it might be nice to my wife if you wrote her a little letter to, have her look at and feel encouraged when she goes to school. And it wasn't a success. It was, she drew a trapezoid with a frowny face in the middle of it. And so my daughter read terrible things into that. And I said, listen, I'm sure it means I love you and good luck. And we cried for 10 minutes and then put it behind us. It's probably for the best. So.
Wow.
And will she talk to anyone? She just, or will she talk to Kelly, or will she just not talk to you?
Oh, my wife?
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I do feel like I have caught her when she doesn't know I'm home. When I get in the door, sometimes I think I hear a voice. Like, did she just finish? You know what I mean? Like, did she?
Like a phone call or something.
Yeah. And then I'll come in and it's just dead eyes again.
Really?
Completely. So who's to say? I mean, that's marriages are difficult, and communication can be difficult. So when in doubt, I'll just break down crying and then we'll reset,
Yeah.
Well,
wow. I'll tell you what, I mean, you stumbling upon the Twin Hills campus was really ordained by God, Brent, because we've got stuff here that is going to bring you community, belonging, purpose, entertainment, activity. I mean, we've got a men's ministry. We've got a sports ministry. We've got a water sports ministry. We've got, obviously the volleyball sand volleyball courts out back by the F parking lot. We got the pole barn. We got horseback riding, whatever you want. We got a Chick-fil-A in the food court, but you got to go Monday to Saturday, because unfortunately it's not open on Sunday when there are a million people here. So, but you gotta, you'll find your people. You could end up volunteering on, the cars ministry. By the way, we got a cars ministry if you need your oil changed.
I would love that. Yeah. Finding my people. And when you said that, I really feel in a way like I'm starting over, not just my daughter. I mean, she's venturing out. I'm venturing out. So.
Starting over at 40.
Yeah, you're so young. I mean, you're so young.
And you look
like
older than you are.
So.
Yeah. It looks like you've lived more than a few lives in terms of the way you look, but
I'm a haggard 40. Man.
Yeah.
But you have children early.
Yep.
And then that makes you age quicker.
Yep.
Right.
So when I'm 50, I'm told I'll look 80, which is fine.
Yeah.
And when I'm 80, I'm told I'll have been dead for 20 years.
Yeah.
And who told you that?
There was a guy who swore he was a doctor.
Okay.
And so I saw him and he did a checkup on me. And he's this very nice guy. Used to live next door to us and then got arrested. It was a whole...
was it Dr. Chris?
Terrible chat.
Oh, Dr. Chris.
The story.
Yeah, he can do it all, though. I mean, he really can.
Except get out of jail now. But he was really a helpful person for us. Really spent a lot of time with my wife. She was catatonic. So
it sounds to me, and I'm just going to put this out there, and I know emotions are important. So I'm just going to tee up an idea, which is emotions, while sometimes important, maybe they're not all worth having, and maybe even worth cutting some of them out so you don't have to deal with them. Because I think one of the best parts of being a guy is just being able to look at your emotions and saying, that one, I don't need anymore. And so maybe just after 40 years of seemingly like you can't stop crying, maybe it's time to switch it up and think, instead of crying, I'm going to be hungry, or I'm going to be just fun.
Yes. I like that. I mean, that's inspiring, actually. You know, you talk about cutting out emotions. I've seen that for 14 years with my my significant other.
Yeah,
and
maybe she's happier.
It's advantage. There's an advantage to not feeling. I think
Yes.
sometimes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like what I've stumbled upon here with your mega church is can I call it a mega church? Is that
It's the most mega of all megas.
really beautiful?
We just call it a
Thank you.
community,
Thank
but
you. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Is that it seems less like a structure or a part of land, and more like, oh, I'm entering a community, and I haven't had a community in a long time.
Yeah.
So,
That is great. I
feels
mean, what do you
nice.
think emotions even are? Sometimes I ask myself, like, why do people even have these?
Oh, I know. They're so pesky.
They get in the way sometimes. But that's why I feel like setting aside a concentrated part of your day to experience them and get them out of the way is like the family cry around the table that we have. It's like, okay, we're done. We felt, let's move on robotically through the rest of our day until this happens again. It's just, it's efficient, you know? And so I apologize for getting a little emotional in the lot, and then earlier in the conversation, just because I try to reserve those for my 10-minute blocks after dinner.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm so glad that you're impressed with our campus and our building. You know, the architecture of the church structure itself. It's the design of it it's called a pyramid, and it's made out of mirrors so that when God looks down, God can only see himself, you know, reflected in the church. But it also sometimes does make the entrances hard to find because you're just looking at the sky or a tree or your own face as you're walking up to enter the building. But
especially on a sunny day, and
it can be
that
blinding.
was really difficult to see. I almost had a little bit of an incident coming off of the highway because of just the glare, the sheer piercing rays that were shining off of that.
And sometimes people, I mean, we have had a few instances. We had to put a bunch of bushes because people would just full on Wile E. Coyote themselves, you know, coming up to the church. They would think that it's, you know, just an infinite parking lot. And they wouldn't see the door, and then they would just kind of walk into the side of the church.
Completely gone.
Yeah. And man, when the sun starts sinking low like a stone in the sky, and that certain angle of a ray will get you. I mean, it can burn you. It can burn a cornea.
Well, luckily in Indianapolis, with only 11 days of sun per year, it's usually not an issue.
It's not usually an issue.
That's true. That's true. It is nice and dismal here, which I like. Keeps you very humble.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It makes us, you know, lean on him more, lean on Christ and call out for the mercy of Jesus. And I just think you're going to love it here. And I'm so glad you found it. And truly, I think you're such a unique fella, Brent, because I mean, most guys, the only time they can show emotion is, you know, during a major football game or a major league baseball game, or, you know, even maybe a college football game.
Or just when somebody brings something off the grill and everyone's like, yeah, you know, that feeling I really like. And I've seen people cry then too.
Oh, sure. If something's really succulent off of a nice sort of summer barbecue.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that will make a guy emotional.
Sports and food, I find, are very emotional triggers for certain men. Not for me necessarily, but I have a brother who yells at his television on Sundays at all the games, and he cries when his team loses. So he's human in that way.
Yeah,
I can appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I think also sports is really the only way that fellas are going to be able to be touched, you know, human touch. You know, you see the athletes out there swatting at each other's behinds, you know. I don't know if that's a community building thing or if it's just necessary, like the coach makes them do it or whatever. But you can tell these guys joined a football team because why? Because they wanted to get touched by another human being in the scrum and in the wrestling that they do as they're trying to get the downs or trying to jump on top of each other. And then the guys in the stadium are doing the same thing. You know, guys aren't allowed to touch each other on a regular basis, but during a game, they can slap each other's sides. They'll sometimes do full embraces after a touchdown, you know?
that's important, you know, and that I'm speaking as someone who I haven't felt touch from my significant other in a decade and a half. So yeah, it's like a cold, just dead plastic feeling.
It's and so it was so she hadn't even touched you. So she hadn't touched you for, you said, a decade and a half.
Yeah,
so that was like, really? Wow.
Right before the accident, we hadn't touched for a year. So
oh wow.
So
again,
marrying young, it's not, it's a challenge, you know, you're physical right off the bat when you're teenagers, and then it's kind of lose interest. So,
wow.
Yeah. Well, you should join our jiu-jitsu ministry, because sometimes I'll walk by the door there and you'll see a couple of guys just pretzeling with each other, grabbing, holding, and wrestling and all that. And
that
you
sounds
might,
nice.
you might really like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's so nice that, you know, we can have someone like you stumble into the public. Yeah.
This is her.
Who?
Oh,
your wife.
Your daughter's calling?
Oh, your wife's calling. So she does talk.
This is my daughter and my wife on a conference call.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Hello? Kelly? Is mom on the phone? I'll have to trust that she is.
Oh no, he's going to be sick.
I miss you too.
Oh.
Should we get our 10 minutes out right here? I'm sorry, guys. We got to do our 10-minute cry here. So.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we should.
Oh.
How's the canvas? It's beautiful, isn't it? I'm sorry. 1 second. God must be shining on me, because she wants me to come back. Give her another hug. So.
Oh, okay. Go.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Also, my wife's on the phone, but I can't tell.
Yeah.
How would you ever know?
Even know?
That was an episode, folks. Thanks so much for listening. If you want to support Mega, head to mega.supercast.com. Ad-free listing. Link is in the show notes. And hey, if you can't right now, how about just sending an episode to someone that you think would enjoy it, or posting about it on social media?
Or rate and review us. You can do that for free.
Yeah.
And it means so much to us. And that was our friend Brian Shortall playing, poor guy, Brett Southpaw. The well emotionally regulated character who just loved his daughter and was sad about being an empty nester. It was so fun to play with him. I grew up watching him in Chicago, and he's such an incredible improviser. You can still see him playing around Los Angeles in his fantastic improv group called Delicious Moments.
Well, that's right, with Ithamar Enriquez. Thanks for listening, folks.
And thanks for considering supporting us. Mega.supercast. Become a member and enjoy all the background perks. And really, it would mean the world to us, because thanks for listening. We love you.
See you next week.